Right before I started this, I know who needs to hear this. Zaldames, I think his name is. You are the epitome of positive power. I would agree. I love a little positive power. Littlest things can get me powered up. Straight up. It can indeed. Indecency, disingenuousness, just being tactfully wrong, misusing power, overly greedy, overly entitlement. Those types of things can get me slightly powered up. They can. I'm inwardly powered up for all the little guys, that don't quite have a voice, are still stuck in the world of conformity and misalignment and unfortunate events, unfortunate line of choices that all end up at the down pit of them sometimes based off the conformity and the conditionings of the world. And you have to take accountability within the actions that you partake in your life, absolutely. But sometimes I just know I'm a different beast when it comes to the way my mind is and how I view things, how I see things, how things bother me and don't bother me. Where I'm at in my walk, where I just don't care. In different ways, I don't care if I live or die. Not in a morbid way, like I'm counting the days to my passing by any means, but I'm out to a place I just don't move with fear. I have no fear. I have no fear on when I do pass, how I pass. That's just not something I think about ever. I look forward to the day when it's my time to go on to my next life, go on to heaven. And so I live every day in the moment. I live every day in the fullest, and I live every day in the present. And I live in every day in positivity and being on the right side of right and being on the good side of good and not taking advantage of the system, not stepping on people, not being overly confident, not operating in conceitedness, not chastising and throwing out over generalizations of certain things. I try really hard not to, at least. I know I fall short in that sometimes, because sometimes it's just what we've done in this population and how we've constructed it intentionally is just a dang shame. And so many people are just falling in line. They're falling in line and not recognizing who they are, what they carry within them, that the love that they carry within themselves and loving themselves is all they need to accomplish everything. And recognizing that there is a higher power. The higher power resides inside of you. The Christ consciousness resides inside of you. The Holy Spirit is within you, the divine. And we are one, and you recognize that, you see that. So often enough, we just take religion and we indoctrinate it in something that it just has been misconstrued throughout the years. I mean, just look at Mary Magdalene and what they did with her and her beautiful story. And it's just one of those things, It's one of those things. Either you know, or you don't know. It's completely up to you. It's your faith, it's your walk, it's your belief. And you're entitled to that. You're entitled to that by all means, and you deserve that space. But there has to be a line drawn in the sand when it comes to how people treat people, how people talk to the less fortunate, to the broken families, to those that can't afford to pay their credit cards, to those that live off their credit cards, right? To those that can't afford to pay or buy houses, and may never, based off this economy. Those that look forward to retiring, and they may never get to retire, based off the economy right now. The people that are in their 70s and 80s right now working, right? There's people that retire and collect retirement, but they can't even live off their retirement. They can't even live off their retirement based off this economy. I mean, come on. Come on. And so many people just buy. Consumerism and materialism on the fly. On the fly. The amount of returns I see in the department store that I work at between the department store and Amazon is freaking ludicrous. Ludicrous. And you can just see so many times how people just buy. They buy just to buy because they're trying to fill a void. Half the crap they buy, they don't even need. They don't even use. Half the times they just buy it for the thrill of buying it so they can turn around and return it. And this is where it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit. Because whatever you're walking through in your world in that day, you feel as though you need this item to fill that void. And so you purchase it, and it's like that high, that instant gratification to fill that void, whatever it is you're trying to fill. And then you purchase it, you fill that void, you get it, and you're like, I really didn't like this. I really don't need it. I'm just going to return it. Right? When you can avoid that entire process, that entire scenario altogether, you can avoid it by looking at things and being like, you know what? I really don't need that. I actually have everything I really need. And so I'm not going to worry myself with buying that because I really don't need it. I have everything that I need. And instead, I'm going to use that energy and that intention. I'm going to go into my day and pour out some greatness into this world. I'm going to pour out some greatness. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to look at people and love them for who they are. I'm not going to be judgmental. I don't know their story. I don't know their walk. I definitely am not going to judge them for their faith. Because if I consider myself a faithful person, I should know that we're not supposed to judge people by their faith. Right? And so you just kind of indoctrinate these things throughout your day, all day, while you're living and you're operating and you're serving others. Right? And you're serving yourself. It starts to become very easy to serve others when you learn how to serve yourself. But so often enough, when you're in that moment of serving yourself and moving and operating in your faith and your beliefs, you can go down these little roads where you get a little tunnel vision. While you're serving yourself and you're serving others, you go down these little pathways. And that ego starts creeping in. And it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger. And you just can lose sight. You can lose sight of your humility. You can lose sight of your humbleness. You can lose sight of your checks and balances. You can lose sight of just humanity. You can lose sight of not recognizing what happened in Gaza being absolutely disgusting. And recognizing what kind of deceptive world we live in to be on the side of doing such heinous activities. For a blackmail operation, for a pedophilia ring, for families that are a part of really sick crap, and they're a part of different operations and have been for years upon years because there's just a conglomeration of generational curses within a plethora of families and entire globally. And it just goes so far back. That's why they're keeping nearly half of the Epstein files hidden. There's a lot in there, more than what we can even imagine. Believe me, I know. I think the world knows. It's unavoidable. But I hope everybody has a great day. I love you guys. Have a good day.